This smartphone costs just $60 or 105,000 naira. I'm surprised at what a $60 smartphone budget can get you in 2024 in a market where even the most budget smartphones rarely dip below $70. Yes, the Itel A80 somehow manages to pack in a 128 gig storage, a large display, an okay chipset, and some features you might expect to see on smartphones costing slightly higher. It looks like the A80 is trying to redefine what is possible in the entry-level segment. Having used its predecessor, the A70, I can tell you exactly where it is. Itel has stepped up that game with this device, and where it is they made some reasonable compromises. The design here isn't new to a lot of people. It's pretty much what we had on the A70 with a few distinctions, like the third circle here now has been replaced with this ring light that also serves as a backlight for notifications. My review unit came in white, and I kind of prefer this color because it's a mix of glossy and matte finishing that does a good job resisting fingerprint smudges. The wave blue option is flashy if that's your thing, and the black provides a simple look for those who want it that way. The first thing you're going to be interacting with on this smartphone is the 6.7-inch display. It's quite an upgrade from the 6.6-inch on the A70, and it's surprisingly good. It's still a 720p panel, but what do you expect from a $60 smartphone? The screen is okay for general purposes. The support for up to 120Hz refresh rate at this price point is surprising to say the least, but let me be clear with you on how this actually works in real life. The 120Hz refresh rate here is limited to the settings menu and the home screen navigation. For most apps and games, you're looking at a base 60Hz experience. I know this might sound disappointing, but 60Hz performance in apps is still perfectly okay for general use. Social media scrolling, web browsing, and app navigation all feel responsive enough for a device in this segment. It's worth noting that even 60Hz for this price point is alright. We get other specifications like a side-mounted fingerprint scanner, a single downward speaker, Type-C ports, headphone jack, and dual SIM with an external storage slot that can be expanded up to 2 TB, though I'm not sure how many people need that much storage. My outdoor experience with this device was okay, a typical 500 nits of peak brightness. For the camera island, we get a single lens on the rear, but this is where it gets a little confusing and interesting at the same time. For the premium memory version of this device, as Itel refers to it, that is the one with a 4 gig of RAM, comes with a 50 megapixel camera at the rear. No doubt it's a step up from the 13 megapixel shooter on the A70, but the 3 gig variant or the standard version comes with a 13 megapixel main camera. I have the 3 gig variant here with a 13 megapixel lens, and it doesn't sound like an upgrade from the lenses on the A70. But I noticed the image processing looks a little bit better here. They both have an 8 megapixel front camera. Both cameras take good pictures with the proper amount of light. If you wish to have a slightly better camera performance, maybe consider getting the one with a 4 gig of RAM that has a 50 megapixel camera. Let me know in the comments what you think of these pictures from a $60 smartphone. The Unisoc T603 chipset on this device is not going to win any medals. Actually, it's the kind of chipset expected on this device considering the budget, but paired with a 3 gig or 4 gig of RAM option on these smartphones, it handles everyday tasks surprisingly well. Most apps ran fine and switching between them wasn't much of an issue. It's definitely smoother than the A70, but still an entry-level performance. Simple games like Subway Surf ran perfectly smooth. I was surprised at how well it handled games like Call of Duty Mobile. It ran okay, but just keep it on low settings. Talking about the software here, something that really impressed me about the A80 is this. It runs on Android 14 with Itel OS 14 on top, not the Go edition we usually get on most entry-level devices, and this is quite of a big deal. It means there are less app restrictions here, which is good. The new Itel OS is noticeably cleaner on the A80, with features like the dynamic bar and a landscape view. This displays clock widget while charging the phone and in landscape mode. I think it's cool, and it kind of looks like the one on the iPhone. There are two storage options for this smartphone, a 3 gig or 4 gig RAM and 128 gig storage. This has to be the only smartphone for 105,000 naira that offers 128 gig base storage. At this point, we just have to give it up for Itel. The 5000 milliamp battery of this device holds up well. With average use, I went through a whole day on a single charge and over 10 hours of active screen time, and this has support for a 10 watts charging speed. To cap this all up, the Itel A80 here offers an incredible value for students, first-time smartphone users, or anyone needing a backup phone. What makes it an interesting choice in the entry-level segment is its large storage. While it's not a significant upgrade from the A70, this still offers good value for users who prioritize battery life and everyday reliability over gaming and camera performance. And the compromises made on these devices feel reasonable enough. They don't get in the way of this smartphone being a reliable daily companion. So I'll give it a 7 over 10 because when you factor in the price, it's kind of impressive. And that is on the A80. For this price, do you think Itel nailed it with this device? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and turn on post notifications. I'll catch you guys on the next one.